These are my thoughts on the Mike Alvarado versus Ruslan Provodnikov fight coming up. I'm not a big fan of the top ranked fights that they're pumping out, but
Now that Time Warner has disabled our Showtime, or vice versa, however that's happening right now, I had no choice but to order HBO today. They gave us a nice little package, the HBO and Cinemax for the same price as I was paying for Showtime. Then of course, after 6 months, it goes up $5. But in the meantime, they were giving me Stars, which has no boxing, of course. So I had to get rid of that ASAP. Um, Looks like I'm going to be seeing more top-ranked fights now. I mean, I always watch the top-ranked fights. What I usually do is I watch the top-ranked fights online while I watch the Showtime or the Golden Boy fights big screen. But it looks like I'm going to be going big screen with the top rank now. Yes, I am sad.
this should be an interesting fight. We got Ruslan. He just put on an amazing fight versus Timothy Bradley. Let's face it, Timothy Bradley is a better boxer than Mike Alvarado. In my opinion, he is. But Timothy Bradley didn't come in as Timothy Bradley in that fight. He came in brawling, trying to win over some fans, and I'm sure he did. Ruslan was able to knock him down a couple times. It's nothing new to Tim Bradley. He's been knocked down before. Of course, Timothy Bradley outboxed him in the middle rounds. I felt Timothy Bradley did enough to win that. But Ruslan has some amazing power. He's not one of the biggest puncher in the junior welterweight or welterweight division, but you could tell he's a tough guy, man. I don't think Mike Alvarado will be able to stop him. He fought before Timothy Bradley. He fought some iffy names. We got Jose Reynoso, who had already been knocked out before. David Torres, I believe he had already been knocked out before. DeMarcus Corley. We all know DeMarcus Corley had been knocked out multiple times before he ever fought Ruslan. Ruslan had lost a decision to Mauricio Herrera. Mauricio Herrera is someone who had lost to Mike Alvarado in a decision fight. I thought Herrera did good in that fight versus Alvarado. It was an amazing fight, very close. We got Mike Alvarado. He's been stopped before. He was stopped versus Brandon Rios in the first fight. He's not as good. I don't think he's as good as a boxer as Bradley, but I think he's more disciplined. Mike Alvarado showed it in the rematch versus Brandon Rios. He didn't fall into the Brandon Rios' fight like he did in the first matchup. He actually realized that Rios could stop him, so he outboxed Rios. He knocked out Prescott in the last round. It looked like he was losing that fight. I thought he was. The other people I was watching the fight with thought Alvarado was winning that fight. But in my opinion, I thought he was losing. He had got a real bad cut in that fight, and he has some good matchups before that. They're not really famous guys, but they all have good records. Gabriel Martinez 27-2, Reynar 25-1, Dean Harrison 16-4. Then Emmanuel Claudy 24-8, Miguel Herrera 27-9. Emmanuel, he has some good competition even in his early career. Mike Alvarado, according to BoxRec, Mike Alvarado is going to have at least a 3-inch height advantage. And this Ruslan's a small guy, short, but he was a little bit taller than Bradley, which is kind of weird since I think Bradley's supposed to be 5'6". Ruslan's supposed to be 5'6", but he looked a little taller than Bradley. So again, we have conflicting height measurements on the internet. I'm getting this information from BoxRec. According to BoxRec, Mike Alvarado's 5'9" and Ruslan's 5'6". According to BoxRec, Timothy Bradley's 5'6", but Ruslan he was at least an inch taller than Bradley. So it'll be interesting to see what Ruslan and Alvarado look like in the face off. I'm gonna have to give this one to Mike Alvarado. I think he won't be able to outbox Ruslan. Um, Although I think Ruslan does have knockout power. There's a lot of guys that he should have been able to knock out, and he didn't. Like DeMarcus Corley, he should have been able to knock him out, and he couldn't. Um, there was one. There was a couple of these guys he's knocked out in his last couple of fights of guys that had been knocked out multiple times before they ever stepped in the ring with him. So Timothy Bradley, who he had knocked down multiple times, had already been knocked down multiple times in other fights. So I mean, his power may look like he has a little bit more power than he actually does, according because of the matchups he's been having. Mike Alvarado, he has been knocked out. I don't think Alvarado will be able to stop Ruslan. Ruslan's a little. I think he's too tough for that. I think Mike Alvarado will be able to fight a disciplined fight and outbox Ruslan. Alvarado wins by decision.